Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? And here we are back at United Rogue Overwatch for our second game of the day. And joined in the casting booth, I'm here with none other than Storm.
How's it going? Well, pretty banger game earlier, no? It's pretty early too.
Yeah, we had an earlier game between Ottawa and Havana, and now we're back here for the Ruby doubleheader between Detroit and Baltimore. And
Definitely gonna be a fun matchup. Methinks.
yeah, I think there's gonna be some shenanigans. I feel like definitely some shenanigans on the horizon here. Of course, Baltimore having some roster changes come through. And honestly, Detroit finalizing some roster changes too. They were able to pick up I believe a new tank in Shadowy. He subbed in and now he's found himself a permanent home on the roster.
That's hype. Although I think any team that involves JD in any way is going to have shenanigans involved. So I'm excited.
And we're getting the hot mic from Cool here. Baltimore has won the coin flip. And it looks like they want to send us to Nepal.
I don't think we've seen much Nepal, have we? Through in either league, to be honest. In both Emerald and Ruby, I don't think we've seen much of it. I think it's mostly been Lijiang and Ilios.
Yeah, and honestly, I like Nepal as a map, but it just gets overshadowed. We have the haha funny boop maps on Lijiang and Ilios, and let's be honest, who doesn't love to see a good boop? Of course, you have Sanctum; it's an option. There's still potential for boops here, but
Very
it's
true.
just not the favored, not the favored.
Well, I mean, when you have two of the most popular control maps in the game in Ilios and Lijiang, it makes sense that a map like Nepal gets overshadowed, but it's getting some love here. Love to see it.
And honestly, it's sad because you know what? Now that I'm looking at these rosters, I don't see any frogs out here. There's not a single frog, I don't think, on either of these teams. So you know what? It's all for naught. It's better we ended up on Nepal here, because we don't have any Lucio shenanigans, which that's what we're really here for, chat. At the end of the day.
Looks like we do have the bans have come in. Detroit banning Orisa and Baltimore banning Junkrat. So no Junkrat for Blue Jay here.
Yeah, he's been banished for this one time. Probably one time only, because I don't see Detroit banning Junkrat at a later point in time. So, yeah, he's going to be denied the Junkrat on this control map, which I think is a smart ban. I mean, Blue Jay obviously flexible in his own right as a player, but these close quarters, you probably don't want the Junkrat being busted out early. I think that's a safe ban. Makes sense.
Yeah, Nepal definitely has quite a few closed off areas where Junkrat can be extremely scary. I'm aware of this because I've had OG Buns on my team for the last 2 seasons, so or for last season and this season. So the Junkrat is very prominent in Emerald as far as some of these players, and we have a Junkrat specialist in Ruby too as well in Blue Jay. But as you said, Blue Jay very flexible, able to play a lot of different heroes. So I don't think it's going to throw too much of a wrench in the plans.
Yeah, especially I think we've seen Jay what on Sojourn. Um, Definitely got some frags on Sojourn. Again, just
You've
all
seen a lot
around
of
go
people on
player.
Sojourn
Yeah.
kind of goes crazy.
Yeah, I wish we'd stop seeing that character. I want her to not exist, but
I'm right with there. I'm right there with you.
Blue Jay said he's betting on Baltimore. You heard it here first, folks. If you're in the chat, you're trying to gambit. Blue Jay is putting his own hard-earned channel points on Baltimore. We have insider trading happening, and no, I'm not gonna stop it.
So Zach is on the Lucio though, so we
Zach
do have a frog.
on the Lucio.
There is a frog spotted.
And we have Clementine here taking up the mantle of tank now.
I believe Clementine plays. Am I thinking of the same person? I'm not sure, but I know there's a Winston player in this server that has a lot of time on Winston. Okay, they have equal amounts of time in comp on both Reinhardt and Winston, so definitely likes the characters. We got Shadowy on the Ramatra too, so here we go.
Getting them out first, and a big wall from Arunos, but they break wall instantly, and the Ram able to sustain with form. Clementine going for the pin. Comes up short, and he gets walled by Blue Jay in return. And a counter wall into Blue Jay, but he has Ice Block to sustain himself. Ryan falls low. And the trade's coming out in favor of Detroit. And it looks like Arunos is gonna... Oh, no, he gets out.
Very scary pin from Clementine, and it ended up leading to their death, and Sojourn gets staggered pretty hard here too, and Detroit pushing really far.
Zach able to confirm a kill onto Blue Jay, though. He falls low, I think, from a May headshot.
Very possible. Now Detroit getting pushed back here. Reinhardt got pinned from the or walled off from their pin, and they're gonna die here. Ooh.
Shadowy cleaning up, just pummeling through the Rhine, pops ult, runs right through the backline.
Clean little 3K, maybe a 4K, not sure.
Playing Orion into this is just so rough because you pretty much have to play off the Ramatra's tempo. And with that, Clementine drops the hammer, solo shattering the Brig, but she lives.
Yeah, I think the primary target there was supposed to be the Ramatra, but it ended up just not happening. Ramatra dodging by the skin of his teeth.
And now Zach staggered as Ryan's coming back in. Will he walk before the Lucio comes back? I hope not. And it looks like they're poking. Zach hitting a little rollout. Oh, and potentially a big mail here. Only Aruno seems to be caught in the room, but he's able to live with his wall and block. Everyone's committing support ults. There's a big mail that's able to isolate Shadowy, and now the trades are coming out in favor of Baltimore. And the flip might go to Bell, but Arunos is out of position. And Ceramic Mug desperately trying to help him. And Blue Jay's able to make the point to stop the flip. And Clementine confirms the kill with a Fire Strike on a Dark Claw.
Oh.
And Jay falls.
They end up getting it though.
Yeah, the flip comes through. But now
I don't think Detroit's too worried about it.
Yeah, you gotta claw your way back from this 99-0 deficit.
We do have Shatter, and Overclock has not been used either on the side of Baltimore here.
I think they're gonna want to use the Shatter for tempo, but they pop the Overclock first, and he finds Gravelet, and the hammer onto the backline gets two. The wall by Blue Jay saving the Brig, and he just runs the on and down.
Oh!
And he pops the Blizzard on point. He finds Clementine. He's gonna be able to finish his kill. Oh no! Zax and Arunos chunk him down. The Rhine stays alive.
That was such a big play from Arunos, able to save his Reinhardt's life and keep the point alive here.
That was a lot, but now we're looking at a Ramatra ult and a Bob against our empty ulti-con here on the side of Bao.
Zero ultis. Oh, but the tank does get walled off here.
Oh, but he has his ult, and he pops it. He's anti though, and Trashcan falls low, a little too pushed forward. And Clementine just trying to sustain this Ram ult. He lives, but the Bob is pelting him in the back. And now the trades are just going in the favor of Detroit. And there's the flip, and I don't think they get an OT touch here. Ryan pinning back, but to no avail.
That was looking a little rough. Baltimore showing some pretty good signs of life. That fight could have gone either way, but a very, very solid Bob placement on the side of Detroit. I think that was the main turning point in that fight, because I think if that Bob's not there, Clementine doesn't die, and they're able to they might have been able to find something to get going, but it never happened.
Yeah, and honestly, Clementine knew, at least to me in the casting boost on this tank role. I'm not sure how I feel about forcing the Ryan into this comp. It looks like Shadowy is just dictating the pace on this Ramadra, so I'm not sure I love this look. But then again, I don't
can
know
respect
Clementine's hero pool.
I can respect it, but also I think it could possibly be a thing of being scared of losing the perks, because they're already at level 3, and if they swap off, that makes things a little bit rough for a while against a team that hasn't really swapped much.
That is true, but here we see it. The Ram shifting up with the Maywall.
Just not really much Clementine can do. Just got melted. That's forcing a backup out of Baltimore.
The first cap here, yeah, going to Detroit, and now this is where it gets rough. Because they have the Maywall, they have the Ramantra, they've been playing this tempo, and you have this vicious choke to try to cross. And you see Blue Jays just crouch there, ready for the Rhine to walk through. But they actually opt to aggress.
Oh.
And they get a Runos. And they're able to
one of the more notorious chokes here. They are able to stabilize. Definitely one of the more notorious chokes on these control points. Blue Jay barely missing that wall onto Clementine, but they're gonna push in anyway.
And Shadowy just running down, getting 2, 3.
4, can he get the 5th? Ooh. No, the May's gonna live here. Wanted that 5k so bad. And already at 52% here. But a lot of ults coming up on the side of Baltimore. But as well, Detroit also has all but one ult here.
And the Blizzard comes out, and the beat, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to sustain through all that damage. Oh, and Shadowy slept,
well, that's a big
and back into the spawn. Meanwhile, Ceramic Bug falls.
Oh, that's a big pull.
An absolute huge grip. And Blue Jay confirming a kill with the Ice Block perk. You love to see it.
I don't think I've seen that one in the kill feed yet. That's funny. But that was such a huge Lifeweaver pull. Oh, and a big wall, too. Stops the Reinhardt pin. Oh, my goodness. And it's all just falling apart for Baltimore here. A big Bob. They were able to just completely stop any forward momentum that Baltimore is trying to get to see if they could get a last touch. First the ice wall, and then Bob chucking up the tank. And it's just not much that can be done there.
And yeah, this was really just the Shadowy show here. I mean, he was just out-tempoing and running down the back line of Bao. And honestly, even the front line, like I said, playing Rhine in that comp is so rough because you have very niche windows of opportunity where you could sort of aggress. And if you don't pick them, you're just going to get left hung out to dry.
Yeah, that was very rough. But Clementine also, as far as I see from looking at the career profile here, a lot of time on Reinhardt and a lot of time on Winston too. And I think they were just trying to kind of stick with that brawly type comp. Didn't really want to do much switching, so the Reinhardt stayed, and that was just extremely rough into what Detroit was playing. And Baltimore picking Gibraltar for their next map. So possibly going to see the Winston coming out here. No word yet on the bans though. So that could be subject to change. Yeah, Detroit just looking so solid on just every point. Now, I think they gave up one fight loss, one point flip on the first point, and then second point it was just all Detroit. Baltimore banning the diva. So I think that pretty much confirms that we are going to be seeing a Winston, because that is the other prominent dive tank, as well as a pretty widely considered Winston counter. Plus that protects the tank role from being banned by Detroit. So we definitely could be seeing a dive comp coming out of Baltimore here.
For sure. I am a little worried though, even though there was no roster swaps on either side, everyone's sticking to their role. Winston, I feel like this season, it can be rough, only because you see a lot of teams, and even in ranked ladder, you see a lot of Soj Torb. You can't really engage on the Soj. She is always going to have slide up if she's smart. And Torb just makes your life really, really hard if you're on Winston. Let's not forget to mention that Detroit is definitely leaning into the Juno Brig. There's not a lot for you to go on. And now, I mean, if you have a coordinated dive and you're really good at isolating targets, you could definitely force it, especially on a map like Gibraltar. It becomes less of a force. But I think there's definitely a lot of prominent heroes right now that we even see in our own matches. I think we've seen Torb pretty universally in both leagues, all over the place. Hell, even Light getting some mileage out of the Torb today in his Ruby debut. It definitely could make playing some of those niche divey tanks, like unfortunately Winston right now, kind of hard.
Yeah, Winston's just got that extremely large hitbox, and Torb has that shotgun right click that just tears him apart. Not really much you can do sometimes, along with the E that gives him that overhealth, gives him the the faster firing speed. It can just completely tear apart a Winston, so it's definitely rough. Plus, you have to be careful where you put your bubble down, because Sojourn can just, charge up railgun off of that, and it just makes it really hard. So I'm curious to see what happens. I would expect to see them at least try the Winston dive at least.
I don't know. We got a hot mic from Cool, but I'm deaf, so I didn't hear him. So chat, we got a Widow ban on the side of on the side of Detroit. So no Widow on Gibraltar, which infamously is a pretty Widow heavy map, I believe. So not gonna have to worry about that, which also just erases another target, a potential target for a Winston dive. So that just makes it even rougher. But in we go. Ten seconds until we get our first looks at these compositions. We do have the Winston. We got Winston Symmetra. We got Arnos on the Torbjorn, Brig and Ana, and then actually we have double Winston on both sides. We have a Winston on the side of Detroit as well, along with Cassidy, Tracer, Brigitte, Ana. So very similar comps as far as the Clementine onto the Reinhardt. I lied. I'm getting scared. I'm getting scared. If we see a Ryan on Launch Point Gibraltar, I'm a little scared.
Yeah, you do have that Symmetra to teleport you around and back on the Winston. They're just trolling us at this point.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm getting a little scared, but.
And Zach onto the Zenyatta. Nope, onto the Brig. I'm just gonna stop saying characters. I don't know what's going on. Arnos onto the Ashe instead of the Torbjorn now, and that's what they roll out on. So very similar comps here.
Oh, and then Anti-Name comes out on the Shadowy, but he doesn't care. He's able to just stay in and cleave the supports. Arunos gets a pick on a Blue Jay. Of course, Detroit with the tank advantage, though. Arunos able to stabilize and get the Mega, and Ceramic Mug just chunking down Shadowy, trying to poke him out.
Is going to be getting heals from that Ana though, so not really much you can be doing.
Shadowy's taking some poke on this bridge, but just filling up his Ana's ult meter, to be honest. Clementine.
In goes Clementine here.
Bubble gets burst and he gets antied.
Very good peel from Detroit there. Ana does fall though.
Did get picked, yeah. And with this close spawn, Monkey's gonna be back first. This will be their time to capitalize. The Ana's walking back from spawn. But Shadowy
forced to pop primal.
Gets slept and is forced to pop
he's looking
primal.
for an environmental. Not quite gonna get it though.
And they're able to outspace the Winston ult for the most part. But Shadowy's still in, and now his Ana is back. And he gets Zac, and he gets out on 1 HP. Can they confirm the kill? They do. But now trade's coming out still in favor of Detroit. Blue Jay just walking everyone down.
Yeah, it felt like they committed hard into the tank, but once they got that kill, they were all pretty low, and the rest of Detroit got in for the cleanup. Clementine going back in now. Got the supports kind of cut off. But
while he goes in, they're trading his backline. But Zac able to get a kill onto the Tracer, and Ceramic Mug sticks JD. And now Shadowy isolated. Blue Jay solo ults the Ana in the backline just for funsies. He may have blundered and he dropped low ground. And Aruno's able to get it. And now finally, this Baltimore team having some traction.
They finally broke through the what felt like for a little bit impenetrable Detroit defense, and now they've got some momentum.
Both teams only have support ults online, and Gravlet gets taken out super early.
Oh, but
Darklock trades out, but Zac has rally up, but he gets poked down by the Nano Winston, and now Fran falls.
Yeah, a big nano from Darklaw onto the Winston.
Gonna get staggered here.
That's rough.
Depending on how they shake
really
out,
too.
you're coming up on last fight territory here. And Gravlet getting picked early again.
Yeah, another one. And it's a Winston battle here.
Oh, Clementine's falling dangerously low. He's able to get aired. And Ceramic Mug gets Blue Jay, but Arunos gets traded. And now Trash Can falls. Darklaw able to nade himself, while both Winstons are in the back line. Oh, and Fran is being bullied by this Primal Monkey, but able to stay alive.
Able to stay? How did Fran stay on there?
Oh, and Ceramic Mug with the double pulse! Oh no, but a C9!
Oh.
It's absolute tragedy.
Oh, no. A huge pulse bomb, but there was nobody there. Clementine didn't have leap up. Was trying to get over to get the Nano Monkey off to finish that point off, but a really unfortunate C9.
And you hate to see that after such a big pulse bomb.
Man, that's tough. Shadowy, a little bit of a talking to Fran. Did you enjoy the free sightseeing tour of Gibraltar? I'm still not sure how Fran had managed to survive there.
I was gonna say she did get juggled around quite a bit. However, credit where credit is due. Between the usage of her own nade and Zac's packs and Inspire healing, she didn't die.
From what I saw, I was watching the Winston POV. It looked like Fran was off the map. Yeah. It looked like she was like sliding along those rocks there. I think that's kind of what saved her.
that left side there gets a little screwy. Some of those rocks have weird hitboxes. Sometimes you slide, sometimes it saves you. Shadowy jumping right out, getting some ult charge for his supports. And Blue Jay on the Hanzo here. I like it.
A lot of people falling really low here.
And Ceramic Mug finds Dark Claw.
But
Oh, and finds another one.
Oh, both honest traded.
And Clementine able to come in, help his Tracer get a little cleanup. And Ceramic Mug is just running amok in this backline.
That was big. That was absolutely ginormous and a really, really good way to start this defense.
This man is just trying to pick Baltimore up by their bootstraps.
And Ceramic Mug back in. Oh, but gets popped by the Hanzo.
And Blue Jay finds him. And now Blue Jay's back up. Able to get some cheeky shots off. But Arunos wins the duel. And Shadowy falling low. But of course, Detroit opting for the sacred technique of letting your Tracer walk cart on Gibraltar.
Wait, they're pushing the cart. They're pushing the cart. They got the cart really far.
That is one of the patent strats when you have a Tracer on this map. You just let Tracer walk cart. Because a lot of the time you want to fight for this high ground. And a big cleave there from Clementine, but he's falling low. Needs to watch. He has Primal. He goes all in, gets slept, but instantly woke up. And High Noon comes out desperately as Shadowy's just running amok in the opposite backline. He finds 3, 4? I don't even know.
He's Winston Gaming.
Just gonna be Ceramic Mug here, stalling it out.
Fought for as long as they could, but to no avail. And that's going to be another clean Detroit win. A really unfortunate C9 for Baltimore leads to a lot faster of a second map than I think they were really wanted. A big Nano Monkey.
Yeah,
that was actually such a good primal.
Absolutely ham. But I will say, a little bit more of a back and forth than that first map. Baltimore finding their stride in some of those fights.
Definitely. They had some really good showings. Ceramic Mug going off on the Tracer a few times on that defense. Some solid play from the supports on both sides, to be honest. Really good peel. Just overall solid gameplay from both teams, but Detroit just had it put together more often and faster than Baltimore did.
For sure. I think what it actually comes down to, that map looked a little bit closer, but I think what it comes down to is the support spacing. You see, when Shadowy jumps in, he's getting so much cleave because of how stacked the Ana, Brig, and Cass are playing. And they're not breaking the bubble in time. He's able to just sit there and farm. And sometimes he's even getting 1 or 2 picks off of it. Like, yes, obviously the Brig is there to protect the Ana, but it's in a way where you can't always fight in the bubble. Like, you can't always walk down the monkey. And Shadow is definitely abusing that cleave. We've seen quite a few primals come out really fast from him. And I think it just, again, it comes down to spacing. JD and Trashcan, they're not overcommitting to fighting the monkey so much as they are just peeling the monkey off of them.
Yeah, it's rough, but it looks like Baltimore is feeling that the monkey and the dive comp was working a lot better than that Reinhardt was. So we're gonna see a Numbani pick coming out. Another very pretty notoriously dive character heavy map, especially the Winston. Not seeing any roster swaps on either side, it would appear, or at least not on the side of Detroit.
Yeah, no positional swaps. We're just waiting for bans to come out here. And now I guess the question is, will Detroit ban a tank to save the monkey pick? Or not Detroit, excuse me. Will Baltimore ban a tank to save the monkey pick? Or do they feel that there's something else worth getting out of the way and off the board?
Well, if Shadowy has another dive tank in the roster or in the arsenal, then I think it's not the worst idea to actually ban Winston here to take Clementine off, but we do have Baltimore banning Juno here.
And this does open the door for the monkey ban if they want it.
They opt for Cassidy ban though.
I think that's interesting. I feel like even though Grathlet having some moments there on Tracer, I feel like Ceramic Mug was feeding families with that Tracer gameplay there.
Absolutely. Definitely taking at least a portion of Baltimore onto their back and carrying them, especially on that defense.
And it looks like, chat, it looks like we have a bio break coming through. So you get to hear us yap about absolutely nothing for the next at least 5 minutes.
You want to talk about Fetty Wap?
True. Chat, what do you guys know about the lore behind Fetty Wap?
I wanna know. What do you guys know? Because we were having a talk about this before stream.
Yeah, our man's is making a comeback. Let's be honest.
We've got a pretty big resurgence of a particular Fetty Wap song.
I was gonna say my mind the last 3 days, chat, has been absolute brain rot. Fetty is living there rent free and will probably continue to do so for at least the rest of the week. If you want a good time, I recommend everyone needs to buy Repo. We all need to download soundboards, and we just need to play. Identity?
Yeah.
We love the reference. Thank God someone in chat is alive to listen to this spiel. But other than that, I'm not sure what we're supposed to yap about. We don't get paid. And I'm running out of things to talk about. So what do we think about the Luka Doncic trade?
That is the worst trade in sports history. That's what it was. I'm a big sports guy, so I'll sit here and talk about this all day, about how this quite possibly was the single worst trade in sports history. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's relevant too, because Luka Doncic plays Overwatch. He hit top 500. He hit top 500 during the last. He hit top 500 during last year's playoffs.
We love NBA gamers who play Overwatch.
Who was it? There was some streamer that ran into him that like blew up. I think it was Moxie.
Yeah, it was Moxie. I think Moxie got him in a game.
And they were talking, and Moxie had no idea who he was. He was getting everything from his chat. It was so funny.
He literally asked him what he did, and he's like, "I play basketball," and he's like, "For a job?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, professionally." Oh, and it looks like
it's so funny.
The official ready up from both teams in chat. Chat has been saved.
Chat has been saved. What do we think about the debate that LeBron is the GOAT now and Jordan isn't? I think there's a discussion that can be had about it.
Honestly, aren't sports podcasts, they're super popular. We're gonna start one here.
I'm so down. You know what's really funny? You know what's really funny is that me and a couple of other a couple of the New York fellas in their server were in there. We were talking about the exact same thing. What if you started a sports podcast and just had like a bunch of people just yelling about sports the whole time?
That would be great because I don't watch sports, but I am down to rage bait all the people that do. Any sport, but I will definitely throw around like wild claims like Shaquille O'Neal is not a top 5 center of all time.
You're turning into Skip Bayless now? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, I keep seeing a clip where someone says that, and
Yes.
Stephen A. Smith starts losing his mind. So I keep that one in my back pocket anytime I talk to basketball enthusiasts.
We've got a wrecking ball on the screen.
And
There
Blue
is a
Jay
wrecking ball spotted.
covering the Junkrat. Are we going to get the treat here? The Blue Jay Junkrat on Numbani.
He's out of spawn, so it's
Yeah,
looking like it.
He is out of spawn. Sorry, I'm used to scrim codes where they could melee and go back. Oh, and look at this. We have a cheeky little play going up here. Everyone is, not everyone, but a lot of members are crouch walking here for an ambush.
Clementine was hovering Malga, now into Winston, Arnos onto the Torbjorn.
And they don't know. Oh, but maybe going a little early? No, they're able to get back.
Down goes Arnos as well. They just got jumped.
Ooh, and Darklaw ventures too far out, gets picked. And I mean, that was a good cheeky idea, but I think it hinges on the fact that you keep the Junkrat and the Zen probably in the small room. They don't want to walk in there.
Yeah, I agree. A good idea, and it did work.
Yeah, it did work. It bought some time. And their Zen is going to be back. And this ball with a 4-man slam in the back line while Clementine jumps on Trash Can with no bubble, but she's all alone. She's out in the open, gets picked. And now he's finally pulling some people to point. Has that bubble cooldown back. Might pick off Jay here, and he does. And now he's on Darklaw.
Big play. Oh, that was really close.
Move from Shadowy, but Clementine hanging on the little ledge there. And
That
Aruna,
was very, very scary.
oh, as I say that, he breaks it, but Aruna's gonna have his turret set up here for the recontest. Gonna make this ball's life real hard. And the minefield coming out gets cleared mostly by the bubble from Clementine. And they're trying to stall this out. Oh, Clementine gets trapped. Gets discorded and blown up. Can Shadowy and Tracer stall long enough? And Zach outplays Gravelet there. Blocks the pulse bomb and whip shot to secure the kill.
Fantastic. That was fun. That was a fun fight. Clementine going off on the monkey, and Shadowy immediately swapping over to the diva.
Yeah, absolutely. Ooh, and Ceramic Mug finding out why Blue Jay eats that map one Junkrat, man.
Yep. Blown up immediately. Diva going in now.
And Clementine, this Discord's gonna hurt.
Oh, that's really scary.
He makes it out, but Shadowy with the follow-up. And Zach's trapped. Forced to pop rally, but he's down 2. And a big nade coming on to Shadowy, but he gets cleansed. Zach able to stabilize, though. But over-peaking might get punished. Darklaw with a mean right-click. Finding one. Jay securing the kill onto the Brig. And now we're a little staggered here, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, Blue Jay getting over-aggressive.
But Darklaw
with the right clicks.
He's gaming.
Of course, you are down Blue Jay now. You're missing a lot of frontline pressure. And Gravelet getting too greedy. But Shadowy's there to confirm the kill on Arunos and forces a primal out of Ceramic from Clementine.
And you have every single ulti on the side of Detroit, but as I say that, we got the Riptire coming out. Looking for anybody. Has the speed boost. Oh my goodness. That's freaky seeing that tire going that fast.
D.Va is just living. Able to pop bomb to get the remake. Chunks Clementine with the remake, not able to confirm with it. And Aruna's taken out on this off angle.
And Baltimore just can't seem to get everybody together all at once. But maybe this team kill is what they needed to have that happen.
Yeah, they have a reset, and Ceramic Mug able to get Trash Can. There's not a big... Not that Kiri does great burst healing, but they only have a Zen Orb now. So maybe this will give them the opportunity to pressure.
They gotta go fast, though, because Kiriko does have TP. And Ceramic Mug falls to grab.
Yeah, and this Junkrat's just able to put so much pressure on the spawn. And Arunos, in desperation, popping the Molten Core just so they could walk out. And Gravlet, getting too greedy, dies to the Brig.
Yeah, a lot of that Molten Core got eaten up by the D.Va, but it was enough to apply enough pressure. And here comes the... Oh, but D.Va gets antied.
Not able to confirm the kill, though.
Find it.
Oh, and another tire.
Did Zach get trapped again in Rally?
I think so. And the remake coming from Shadowy. And I think, on top of the outright pressure that's just coming from this Junkrat and D.Va, Clementine was just being bullied by the Discord Orb there. He's not breaking LOS, so he just living permanently with the purple orb on his head. Hence, we see the Zarya drop.
And Darklaw falls to Ceramic.
And Blue Jay hiding, able to pick off Zac from behind.
But does end up falling to Ceramic. And Baltimore finally getting some cart push here. But with only 38 seconds left, you have to wonder how much they're going to be able to get.
Yeah, we have Pulse Bomb online, but that's about it. You might get Molten Core, but you're staring down a Kitsune Rush and a Pulse Bomb on the side of Detroit. And there it is, but it comes up short. Ooh, but Jay's able to confirm the kill on the Fran. And the Rush comes out. And this is just cleanup on the side of Detroit.
Yeah, that Rush helping out immensely. And the 5 seconds left. Tracer's still in spawn. I don't think they get another touch. And one last pick for the stat pad on the side of Shadowy. And that's going to be the end of round one.
Now, if you are a Baltimore believer in the chat, your hopes are not completely diminished yet. They did cap. There is a chance we get a full hold here.
Yeah, and it was a really quick cap too, so they definitely can have some confidence going into this first point. I'm not sure if you want to bring out the full dive again though.
I was gonna say, I think it hinges, actually, despite all the immense pressure from the Junkrat and from the D.Va pick, I think this hinges on what Darklaw plays. Because on attack, it's harder to get that Zen set up. But if he's able to just bully and Discord Clementine again, I don't think the dive will work. And as we see, Clementine not even opting for the monkey, comes out on the Sigma, and Darklaw not wanting to deal with trying to get the Zen set up here on Numbani attack, opting for the Lucio.
And we do have a Sojourn from Ceramic Mug with the Mercy Pocket from Zac, so that is definitely going to be terrifying. We have a Roadhog on the... Wait, they might just be hovering Roadhog, but we could... Yeah, okay. No Roadhog. Back onto the D.Va.
We would have loved...
Man, I got excited for a second.
And we have Zac on Mercy here, pocketing this Toad. And Darklaw gets absolutely rolled. I'm sorry, bud. You're getting called out on that one. What happened there? And they don't know the strat that's happening. I think Shadowy is just letting Kiriko farm ult. It's not as efficient
Yeah.
if you run the Ana, but he's just letting the Sode shoot him so the Kiri can build rock.
Yeah, and Trash Can already at 50% ulti. And now Shadowy in the back line takes out Fran.
And let's not forget, we had a flying Blue Jay there, and he's up again, fighting Arunos now. And Shadowy flying in to help confirms the kill on Arunos. And it's just cleanup.
Yeah, answers Baltimore. Baltimore's relatively quick cap with an even quicker cap of first point.
Yeah, and now
they come Zach onto the brig.
They're looking at this rush now as they basically have a fight and a half, maybe if they're lucky, depending how they do this. If they get staggered here, though, it's gonna be a very, very tough recontest.
And now Trash Can has the pretty much has the ulti. Ceramic Mug falling really low.
But Blue Jay getting Zach, and Clementine is sort of contesting cart alone while they just run amok in his backline. But Ceramic Mug doesn't care. He picks off Jay on the off angle. And Clementine...
Yeah, very solid play. Arnos coming out, able to save. Oh, but the Diva getting the Diva Bomb here. Graf finds Arnos with the pulse. Ceramic Mug finds Graviolette.
And honestly, with this rush, it's going to come up, I believe, just as we round this corner here. Oh, maybe not. Darklock gets picked off. Oh, it comes out in an attempt to swing it with the tire, who's able to find Clementine. And I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Detroit is going to walk this in. Zach with the desperation touch.
Not going to be able to get it done, though. A quick 3-0 for Detroit onto Baltimore. Baltimore showing signs of life, but just at the end of it, weren't able to come through. And Shadowy with 3 plays of the game, by the way. That he was cooking.
Is the Shadowy show. Honestly, basically calling the shots and running things here on tank. I will give the
like every time I looked up.
Shout out to Ceramic Mug, though. That man is trying to feed families with his DPS play.
Yeah, he was playing very, very, very well. It felt like every single time looking up in the kill feed, it was either Shadowy or Ceramic Mug in the feed. Looks like we're reporting JD at the request of Trash Can. He did kind of got rolled on that second map. No.
Honestly, JD is facing an account mute. Hence the level 1, I repeat, chat, the level 1 endorsement level. So JD has been verified by Blizzard to be a toxic individual. Yeah, he's not a nice guy. Despite what you guys see in Discord, I have some clips. They may surface here if we ever need to blackmail him, if he ever makes it big. But until then, that's your 3-0, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll see you back here next week for more You Are Overwatch.
See ya.